Christie's Galleria. Do 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 do. Henderson. Not quite Dickerson did it, but close enough. Oh, good day, Lord Eustace. It's always such an honor for us to serve the needs of the Alberea family. Did there happen to be an issue with any of our products, perhaps? Oh, I see. This is the store we get our furnishings from, isn't it? Worry not. I'm here on personal business today. Understood. If that's the case, then please take your time. That was quite the conversation. Seems they like to flaunt their influence all over town. Apparently so. In addition to furniture crafted in the Berea style, we also sell rare ingredients, among other things. We stand by the quality of everything we sell. As Lord Eustace said, we even count the Alberea household among our distinguished customers. If you have any questions about our lineup, please ask my daughter, who also works here. Dickerson the butler. Aw, yeah. And I imagine he did it. Henderson and Company General Goods. Anything new here? Probably not. Oh, there is one new thing. Oh, frog strap. A strap with a figurine of a frog attached, part of a set. EP up by 20, speed up by 2. Interesting. So from what I understand, you want to make sure you have one of these. Because apparently you can trade it for something really good towards the end of the game. So you want to get one of those, even if you don't plan to equip it. Alright. Eloise! Welcome to Henderson and Company. Can I interest you in this tea, perhaps? It's produced in the Sutherland province and is popular for its elegant fragrance. Cool. Look at all this stuff. There's freaking jars, and I bet there's lots of jargon. You know how it is. Bottles and ingredients and who knows what else. Wine. Plants and planters and Electra. Carmen Electra, even. I'm here to buy goods for the party being hosted at our mansion. Buying ingredients is a given, but I've also got to make sure the interior of this mansion looks spotless, too. Appearances are everything to the nobility, you see. Lots of soup that, you know, a certain customer named Newfie's probably going to put in jars because of all the jargon. Just the way it goes. We got some clothes. What does that say? Cobbler tricolor. Okay. It's Goach. Good day, Lord Eustace. It's always an honor to have your patronage here. Please take your time and peruse our selection. Okay. What do we got? Fiber boots. And more cozy socks. Well, I think fiber boots are actually better than what we have. Maybe we should put those on then. Yeah, defense up by 20. We'll put those on. Bum 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 bum. Tanya Harding. Are you here to make an order? Or perhaps you've come to pick up your goods? Oh, my apologies. I assume that you were here for tailoring. Please take your time to look around. Fiber guard. Again, we should put those on, too. We already got those, so... You know how it is. Fiber guard. Defense up by 40. Art defense up by 10. So, there you go. Got some fiber guard going on. It's pretty sweet. Can we go upstairs? We're going upstairs. Do 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 do. Arms and Saddlery. Club Lexington. Alright. Brash. Welcome. I assume that you're Lord Eustace's classmates. This guy looks like a dork. Like someone you'd see walking around a Walmart. We have a wide range of arms and horse tack in stock here, so please feel free to take your time and peruse them. Huh. I wasn't expecting there to be horse tack here as well. It's almost like it's a store specifically for horseback riding. Indeed. Horseback riding and hunting are both still popular here after all. This also happens to be the best store for hunting-related tools, too. It's an honor to hear those words from Lord Eustace himself. We also have a range of arms manufactured by the Rhineford Company, should you be interested in those. Ooh. Ah yes, a word of warning. Do take care should you choose to head out to the Aurochs Canyon path. Canyonero! The journey to Aurochs Ford is a long one, and monsters have been appearing on the canyon path more frequently of late. I recommend that you be fully prepared if you have any intention of going there. Uh-huh. We got weapons! New weapons. Kudio. Kogatsumaru. A replica of a sword that appears in an Eastern legend. Cool. Gotta get one of those. I didn't want to put it on. I didn't want to... Whatever, man. Synchrotron. A new type of staff capable of coping with varied situations. Like the situation report. We need to sell some bullshit. Some bullshit. Needler SG-50. The Rhineford Company's best-selling shotgun model. Cool. Shotgun. Saber. A plain knight's sword with a beautiful blade. Black Saber. Karambit. Gun swords with sharply curved blades, loved by mercenaries. Nice. Horseman's cap, that's new. A luxuriously designed cap for refined horse riders. Strength up by 4, speed up by 2. Definitely want to get one of those bad boys. We got some new weapons. It has more strength. Although speed and evasion go down, but that's okay. It's alright, man. It's alright. Variable cane. Attack it by 30. Art strength goes down by 25 and speed up by 3, but that's alright. Karambit, attack up by 40. Cause she's a man. She's 40. Didn't you know? Saber, attack up by 40. Art strength down by 10 and speed down by 5, but that's okay. Saber. It is kind of sad that weapons don't seem to look different, but oh well. Needler SG-50, attack up by 40, speed down by 3. Bum 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 bum. He's got a shotgun. Do 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 do. Wonder if it can be upgraded to an automatic shotgun, Turok style. Baron Opal. I should have some maintenance done on my hunting gun now that the hunting season is approaching. I could always take the opportunity to buy an entirely new one instead, however. Well, looks like those are like traps, hunting traps, and swords, and guns. Looks like assault rifles, and shields, daggers, pistols, boxes. Not sure what those are for, but maybe ammo or something. Riding saddles. That's pretty cool. Saddlery. Butler Carrington. Almost like Carrington from Perfect Dark. Oh dear, the young lady of the house I serve has run away from home. She's ever so frail, so I was under the impression that she would have made her way to Bereahard. No one seems to have seen her here, however. Lady Annabelle, where could you be? I think I've seen an Annabelle. I don't know if it's the same one, but... Horseshoes! We could play horseshoes! How cool would that be? What do we got here? Fortnum Books. It's a bookstore! Stan! This area used to be a street entirely dedicated to stores for the nobility. Back in the day, they would all come along in their carriages, ready to purchase the finest in goods. Sample my goods! Now said street is gone, and instead this department store stands in its place. Yet the clientele remains the same as ever. Okay, Stan. We got, 2 new chapters of Carnelia reprint. Part 3 and Part 4. Nice. I purchased some books, didn't you know? Who's ready to read? Well, let's just try not to leave these books out in the rain, because that'd be pretty awful. Chapter 3. Representative of the Septian Church. The train barreled on, almost flying through the thick veil of fog. Droplets of water splattered against the window glass, extending out like transparent veins, and continued to wriggle back and forth under the pressure of the swiftly passing wind. You know, because I guess someone farted, so... Placing the temple of my head against the glass, I stared blankly down at the tickets in my hand, and rubbed the two of them together between my fingers. Much like the digital tickets that John would complain about. I would be traveling by train to the border city, far south of its imperial cousin, and then to reach the liberal kingdom I would have to transfer to an airship. Both of my tickets were first class, but not the highest end seats available. The passenger car was nearly at full capacity, but for some peculiar reason, nobody had seated themselves in the space next to mine. As I mused about the empty seat, it occurred to me that Micht may have purchased the spot ahead of time, leaving it vacant on purpose. You mean Micht from the pawn shop? There was no doubt in my mind that he was being paid handsomely to make sure this job was done and done well. Will you be traveling to the liberal kingdom, sir? Right around the time my trip on the rails had passed its halfway mark, I was met with the sudden question, and sat up with a start. My eyes searched for the one who asked it. There, standing in the aisle, was a single woman with a radiant complexion, beaming down at me. She wore a coat with overlapping buckles secured slightly above her breast, and appeared to be in her mid-30s. Not quite 40, but close enough. Gingerly bending her knees and pointing her finger at the empty seat beside me, she asked, "Do you mind?" With a tilt of her head, she indicated the rear of the passenger car, where swirling smoke saturated the air, and softly muttered, "The smell from the tobacco smoke is just dreadful." Wordlessly, I nodded and dragged my bag from its place on the floor, moving it over by the window to the opposite side of my feet. The woman expressed her thanks and delicately sat herself down in the seat next to mine. For being a perfect stranger, she talked on endlessly, and I appropriately reciprocated the conversation by saying that I was on my way to the liberal kingdom on business, as an orbment specialist. Her story was that she was on a mission of mercy for the church, and had an errand to fulfill in the border city. "Just so you know, people sometimes refer to me as Sister," she went on. "Of course it's just a nickname." She recrossed her black leather boot-clad legs and let out a sort of suppressed titter from the back of her throat as she made mention of this. Sister Carnelia was her nickname. This happens to be the name that the book is named after. Imagine that. We continued on in this fashion, subjecting ourselves to a variety of idle banter. We talked about how the Huskers have been playing as of late. We got into a deep discussion about Jamal Lords versus Joe Daly. And as time drew on, the sun overhead began to dip in its arc, crossing the celestial meridian and descending into the west. Each time the moving train cleared a grove of trees, the entire vehicle, passenger cars and all, was bathed in a warm apricot hue. flooding into the cabins, creating a majestic spectacle. I gaped at the coruscating effect, and in doing so, locked eyes with Sister Cornelia right at the moment. The brilliance of the sinking western light seeped into her rich brown irises, causing them to give off an exquisite rubescent sparkle. The glimpse made me wonder if the origin of her nickname was somehow related to the color of her eyes being likened unto the luster of a polished carnelian stone. Possibly. The train gradually began to decelerate, and Sister Cornelia returned to her original seat in order to collect her bags. As a matter of habit, I checked my bag and orbment and found both the junk paper-covered package — you said package — and the magical device fastened into my trousers' inner pocket by a series of chain stitches, exactly where and how I'd left it. A woman's voice came over the intercom system announcing that the train would be arriving on schedule, and that rainy weather was to be expected at our destination. At the conclusion of the announcements, a number of disappointed sighs could be heard coming from along the rows of seats. Raindrops pattered against the window outside as the looming silhouette of the overcast city came into view. I guess they're not a big fan of rain, huh? The station signal lamp emitted an angular light, which was scattered with a refractive effect by the falling droplets of water. Then came a spine-chilling metallic sound, followed by the jolt of the orbital engine's reversing thrust, as the locomotive at the front of the train lurched to a halt. Over the loudspeaker came another announcement asking passengers to ensure that they did not leave their baggage behind, and with that, several people stood up and crowded into the aisle, watching a station worker, in uniform as he waved a small flag amidst the falling rain. I picked up my bags and rose to my feet. I crossed paths with Sister Cornelia as I attempted to step into the aisle, but when she tried to step aside and allow me room to pass, she suddenly tripped and fell forward, grabbing onto my shoulder for support. She picked herself up and, with an embarrassed smile, let me by. I gave her a short bow in line with general etiquette practices, then headed for the exit ahead of her. Following my lead, Sister Cornelia shuffled along closely behind me, so close in fact that it felt as if she would step on my heels. Oh boy. Personal space, Miss Thing. Something about it just didn't feel right. Instinctively sliding my right hand into my pocket, I searched for my orbment, but the brass feeling I had grown accustomed to was nowhere to be felt. In an instant, I felt my arm being twisted behind my back by someone or something with incredible strength. The sleek sound of a blade being unsheathed, and then a warning prick of the tip at my back, indicated the seriousness of the situation. The situation report. "I have what you're looking for, Toby," whispered Sister Cornelia in an almost inaudible tone, her lips barely moving just behind my right ear. "Let's not try anything either, shall we? I'd hate to see your afternoon spoiled any more than it's going to be." And to show that she meant business, Sister Cornelia slightly altered the angle of her grip on my wrist, causing an explosion of agony that sent sparks flashing behind my eyes. Exciting. Chapter 4. Human Fodder. Sister Cornelia spoke to me in a tender tone as she sent a wave of immense pain rushing through the whole of my right hand. "I won't have any trouble with you now, will I, Toby?" she asked. Far from eyes just brimming with tears, I nodded my head in consent, as the salty streams of water ran down my face. "He's salty, didn't you know?" Satisfied with my answer, she loosened her grip, and I felt the pain vanish as if it had been all some sort of an illusion. With a wry smile, she further added, "Don't get me wrong, Toby. I've been sent here to protect you by the goddess herself." Oh boy. This is what she said while instructing me to keep my eyes focused on what lies beyond the window glass. The very same window that Billy fell out of 3 days earlier. Yet there was something about the way she pronounced the last syllable of my name that really rubbed me the wrong way. Little by little, the line of passengers slowly began to flow out of the train car. Prodded on by Sister Cornelia, I inched forward while keeping my gaze on the platform through the passenger car window. Down the stairs which led to the front ticket gate were the figures of those men from earlier this morning, the 3 thug-like passengers who had been loitering near the large horse-head emblem of tile at the Imperial Station. A muffled laugh echoed from her throat as she too noticed them. Well, isn't this a warm reception party you've got going on? Cocking my head, you said cock. I quietly pleaded, give me back my orbment. Sister Carnelia said nothing. Members of the crew bid us farewell as we stepped through the exit to disembark the train onto the lead-colored platform below. Angrily, I thought to myself, damn it, what's wrong with these fools? Can't they see what's going on? They don't care. I shut my eyes halfway to protect them from the drizzle whipping against my face, and I unhurriedly descended the wet set of stairs, a half pace at a time. Sister Carnelia moved along behind me at precisely the same length of stride. Below, the group of thugs waited expectantly at the bottom of the stairs. Waited for me, no doubt. They're gonna whip his ass, didn't you know? Contemplating the rate at which I was going, I ultimately believed it was only a matter of time before I would be handed over to the enigmatic group and they would beat the crap out of me for making Vegastar jokes. I caught sight of their soured faces as the distance between us grew smaller, and felt the heat of my left hand, tightly gripping my bag, grow in intensity until my palm began to sweat profusely. Hitting the midway point on the stairs, Sister Carnelia suddenly whispered in my ear, "Keep your eyes on the ground, Toby." I did as I was told and cast my gaze down upon the tips of my boots, stained to a darker shade by the rainwater. Then right at the moment I let out my breath. I felt a deep sense of pressure just below my shoulder blades as I was forcefully shoved forward. Droplets flew from my saturated fingers and my world turned upside down as I tumbled down the stairs and slammed back first into the group of hoodlums. With a muffled crunch, I felt the painful sensation of my ribs crumble under the weight of my body and then return to normal from their severely compressed state. Two of the seemingly military men who were hit as I toppled down the stairs, like an avalanche unleashed on a pair of young saplings, absorbed the transfer of force and were thrown into a large puddle collected on the ground nearby. They got salty like that pizza from ROTDS. Shrieks erupted from startled passengers nearby, more shrill than the high-pitched sound of the railway brakes from a decelerating locomotive. As my world spun wildly about me, I lay there, the chill of the tiles seeping into my back. With a concerted effort, I rolled my eyes to the left where my arms remained in an outstretched state. By some act of the goddess, I had managed to keep my tight five-finger grip on the bag I had been carrying. In an effort to get up, I slid into a prostrate position, keeping my chin in contact with the ground, making a low visual sweep of the vicinity as if my life depended on it. I noticed the military-like physiques of the men had vanished from view. The only figure I saw standing above me now on the platform was that of Sister Carnelia, and on her shoulder, as if she were merely hefting a sack of grain, was one of the men. Turning into the direction where the train sat in its motionless state, she lobbed the unfortunate man down onto a set of empty rail tracks below. By this time, I had risen to one knee while keeping the other planted firmly on the ground in a half-standing position. The world in front of me was still swaying, undulating in my wavering eyesight. My head slowly rocked back and forth with it as the double vision of Sister Carnelia's boots approached me. Then, with a strong grip, she tugged on my hand. For some strange reason or another, when she did this, I failed to notice the unpleasant feeling that her hand wrapped tightly around mine brought. "Let's go, Toby," she instructed in an authoritative voice. Nearly dragging me, she pulled me to my feet, and before long, we were hightailing it out of there. The onlookers made quite a commotion as they moved hastily out of the way, in a determined attempt not to be caught up in the middle of our flight path. The bag in my left hand swung helplessly, knocking against my thigh. After clearing the ticket gate, Sister Carnelia finally let go of my hand, but a sickening slippery sensation came with it. Looking over at her, I realized that the stomach-churning, slimy feeling on my hand had come from the bright red blood which stained both of hers. Oh boy. I peered back over my shoulder, not soldier, what the beep? I peered back over my shoulder in the direction of the platform as I continued to run, but the figure of those three men who had been waiting for me at the station were nowhere to be found. She killed them, didn't you know? And that concludes Chapter 4. Good times. Alright. Now that we got our literature out of the way, it's time to move on. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yay! Alright. What do we got going on around here? How you doing? Annette? And Raby. Wow, that's a terrible name. Oh, it's Lord Eustace. It's Lord Eustace. Wow, it really is. I'm sorry we didn't notice you. We were just reading a book. Yeah, so was I. Worry not. I see you're still taking good care of your brother. Hydrate style. I'll take a sip of my Mountain Dew energy. Orange breeze flavor. Mom and Dad are working at the mansion again, so the two of us end up alone during the afternoon. That's why we're both waiting here for them to finish. Guess what? I now know how to wait patiently. Is that so? You're both worthy of praise, then. Yay! Thank you. I have to leave now, but be sure to watch out for cars. You don't want to get run over. Don't run out onto the road, either. We'll be careful. Bye-bye. He's popular with kids, isn't he? No one expected this. Would you care to give us your thoughts on this, Machias? Not really, no. Besides, he's still far too blunt, even with children. Cease your gibbering. We have business to attend to. Uh-huh. Mom and Dad won't be getting back until late tonight. Raby's able to wait patiently now, though, so it's fine. This is all thanks to you, Lord Eustace. I wonder what his relationship is with them. Bye-bye, Lord Eustace. Fun. Bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. What do we got over here? That's where you go to leave. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that, man. We want to head this way. You want to head to Noble Street. Jamie Noble, even. Noble District.